abundance is infinite, and the universe is a giver. So according to Deepak Chopra, in getting comfortable with the idea that the source of abundance is infinite, we then open doors to new opportunities that never existed before. So in wrapping our minds around that idea, about the idea that the universe is really abundant, we can look for signs of that. And it reminds me of this saying, the more we look for something, the more we see. And so if we're looking for abundance, if we look, scientists tend to, I think, Austin, you can disagree with me, scientists tend to look at the extremely micro and the extremely macro. That's one possible window. And looking at the extremely micro, I could talk all day about how abundance happens at that level. One of the facts that I pulled out was that there are 1,000 times more atoms in a single cell in your body than there are stars in the Milky Way. 1,000 times more atoms in a single cell in your body. And in terms of cells in the body, which scientists don't always agree how many cells there are. Some scientists say 1,000 trillion, some say 30,000 trillion. But there are far more cells in the body than there are people alive on the planet. I believe there are 8 billion people alive on the planet. So thinking about the abundance when you look through a microscope, and then you think about the quantum level, which is about the very small and small changes. But we're just beginning to tap to that level where matter becomes energy and energy becomes matter. We've known that, but just beginning to discover ways and prove that that's really happening. And the macro, when we look at the really big, we learn all the time, oh, we're discovering new planets and new galaxies and more exoplanets than we ever thought, and more galaxies than we ever thought, and just new things. One of the things I read was that there are 70 septillion, that's a 7 followed by 23 zeros, stars. And that's a lot. And astronomers estimate that there are about 10,000 stars for each grain of sand on the Earth. There are a lot of stars, and it's so abundant. And we're still finding out, we're scratching the surface in terms of our knowledge in all these areas. You know, even the oceans, you know, just scratching the surface in terms of what kind of life is out there in the oceans. So the other day, I took a walk and I was just noticing in this little block, this humble little block that I live in San Jose, you know, I could take a walk around that block and I could just kind of not think about anything, nothing special. I'm just walking, I'm talking on my phone. Or I could start to pay attention to the practically infinite variety of plant life around me. And not only about that plant life, but the way it's manifesting. I was realizing I was looking at the weeds coming up through the cement and thinking how fascinating it is that these little things are blossoming through cement, blossoming through fences. They're thriving. So I feel like this is a hint. You know, I could step on that weed, or I could be grateful for that weed, that it is showing me the abundance and the power of life in the universe. And so back to this idea of the universe as a giver, Hafiz, the poet Hafiz, said, "The sun never says to the earth, 'You owe me.' It just keeps shining." And Hafiz said that about the nature of love, but it's the nature of abundance as well. The sun just keeps shining and giving. And that's just the nature of the universe. Something else that came from this article about Deepak Chopra's laws of abundance, as he posits them, is that abundance is not a zero-sum game. This allows us to get rid of feelings of, to me, not only lack and limitation, but of jealousy and envy. Why? Because a zero-sum game means that when someone else wins, I lose. When I win, someone else loses. But in abundance, it's not a zero-sum game. It means everyone can win. It means there's enough to go around for everyone. So when you see someone that just came into some sort of success, whether it's material success or some accomplishment, think about how it makes you feel. And if it makes you feel that they won and you lost, maybe rethink that thought. I go back to Emma Curtis Hopkins. Her mentality of the way to get your healing energy going is to praise everything and everyone for their accomplishments, for their successes. So that's abundance thinking, because that says there's enough to go around. And notice that she says that's healing energy. Abundance is healing energy. And I think Myrtle Fillmore said, the universe is crammed full of health. Crammed full of health. So it's the abundance of health. So we can invite more prosperity into our lives by celebrating the abundance of another. And that takes us out of this lack and limitation thinking. The next thing that Deepak Chopra said that hit me was, he said, intention and attention expand the field of abundance. Intention and attention. So you've heard it said that we cannot give attention to anything without affecting it. Like scientists are discovering, they've discovered that you cannot observe a system without affecting it in some way. And Wayne Dyer and Esther Hicks, think about what they say. They think that a crystal clear intention, you've heard it so many times, brings manifestation. And Esther Hicks says that when we become a vibrational match to what we want, worlds conspire to give it to us. And I'll paraphrase. She says something like, all cooperative components, all cooperative relationships, everything comes together. There was a movie, I forget what movie it was, but it said, when something is meant to happen, the world will fold itself in upon itself for it to happen. And so that kind of thinking is very helpful when you're thinking about unlimited possibilities. And that is the kind of expansive emotional alignment that we need in order to get in line with the law of the universe, which is abundance. Get in line with our own expansion, not just the expansion of everything we're observing. So the next law of abundance, Deepak Chopra says, whatever you want to receive, start by giving. And this is in alignment with something in New Thought and many spiritual beliefs, that it's called the law of circulation. And Deepak Chopra says, holding on to anything is like holding your breath. You'll suffocate. The only way to let anything really expand and happen is to let go of it. And Dr. David Bruner, often he would just have you, and let's try it right now, just take a deep breath and hold it. It's not natural. You want to exhale. And when the exhale comes and you're finished exhaling, there's an impetus with every cell of your body that wants you to inhale. And exhaling and inhaling is a conscious practice, and it's also a subconscious practice. This is, the meeting of the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous systems. It's nature at work, but it works just like the inflow and the outflow of rivers and streams. It works like the cycle of life. So this law of circulation means in order to receive, we need to give. We can't be holding on. And I'll talk more about that later. But one of the examples that I thought of was some of the richest people in the world don't have a consciousness of wealth. Some of the richest people in the world I read about, they have a consciousness of hoarding, but that's changing. There are a number, it's becoming very in vogue and very cool, and I love it, that many billionaires now, and what do they call it? Centimillionaires, the millionaires who have hundreds of millions, and even the poorer ones that only have a few $1 million, they're signing up for this thing called the Giving Pledge. Anybody ever heard of that? It's this thing that was started by Bill Gates and Warren Buffett. And what it basically says, it's a pledge, and you can look at the website, to encourage wealthy people to contribute a majority of their wealth to philanthropic causes, to basically do that before they die. And so as of June 2022, this pledge has created close to 250 signatures from 28 countries. And the total number of pledges is over $600 billion. That's actually, that data is a year old. I'm sure it's much higher by now. And one of my favorite people in this spirit of philanthropy, in this spirit of giving back, in this spirit of compassion is Mackenzie Scott, the ex-wife of what's his first name? Bezos. Anyway, and she says this. Is it Mark Bezos? Someone put it in the chat. I don't know. She says this. We each come by the gifts we have to offer, by an infinite series of influences and lucky breaks that we can never fully understand. So I'll read that again. We each, Jeff Bezos, thank you. I knew it was a short name like that. I use Amazon so much. Shame on me for forgetting Jeff Bezos' first name. We each, I'll say it again, we each come by the gifts we have to offer, by an infinite series of influences and lucky breaks we can never fully understand. I think what she's talking about is the law of abundance. That's what I think she's talking about. So she goes on to say, in addition to whatever assets life has nurtured in me, I have a disproportionate amount of money to share. So my approach to philanthropy will continue to be thoughtful and generous, and it will take time and effort, but I won't wait. I won't wait. I will keep at it until the safe is empty. And so I love that spirit of giving from Mackenzie Scott, who has given half of her wealth away. She's given away $16 billion just in the last short number of years. And so I love that spirit of philanthropy that's being modeled by her and hundreds of other billionaires, and should be modeled by everybody because it's just a proportion of what we have. So I ask, what is your giving pledge? And I'm not talking about a giving pledge to unity. I'm talking about your giving pledge in life, your giving pledge or your giving consciousness related to giving back to things that you care about. And I began this talk talking about, abundance and the difference between abundance and prosperity and money. And I want to talk about that for a second, because I think we need to stop thinking of money as money. We need to start thinking of money as energy. I had a friend that said, at the end of this counseling session, she said, I charge money because it's an energy exchange. It's basically a reciprocity of value. And money is just nothing but a symbol of generosity. It's a symbol of hey, this thing is of value to me. I was just thinking, some people, they complain that their iPhones are like $1,000. But if you break it down and think about how much a day that is, I think I did it the other, it was like $2.73, maybe, I don't know, 1,000 divided by 365. But if you think about someone taking this phone away from you, how much would you pay to have that phone back? That phone that gives you a feeling of safety when you're going for a late walk, when it gives you directions while you're driving, it lets you communicate importantly to all your loved ones. I mean, that's just scratching the surface. I hate to say it, but this phone is worth a lot more than $2.73 to me a day. It's so when I buy an iPhone, I think it's an energy exchange. It's me saying, thank you, iPhone, for the value that you give to me. And I don't care if that's not cool to say, but my life is better, safer in many ways. I know it's not as good in other ways because of the iPhone, but it depends how you use it, right? But it's certainly a valuable instrument. So money is energy. And Deanna Barnett often reminds me that money based on prosperity, okay? Prosperity is not just money. Prosperity is giving of your time, talents, and treasures. And that's how generosity happens. So I want to expand this definition of prosperity to money, which is symbolic of energy, time, and talents, which could all be worth money. Say my time is money, right? But those are all manifestations of value. Okay, so that takes some of the charge off of money. And this time, talents, and treasures, I just think, gosh, Unity is good at this, because the Namaste Women's Group, our annual outreach program to seniors in need, provides over 100 gift bags and loads of gift cards worth lots of money each year to people who may never receive any other gift that year, to seniors in need who need those things. And so that's our exchange. That's our pledge of generosity. So I want to come back, still rooting ourselves, and now thinking about abundance is sacred, prosperity is sacred, money is sacred. And I want to talk, I'll just share Myrtle Fillmore's viewpoint of what she called permanent prosperity. And Myrtle Fillmore, our co-founder, said, true prosperity is not making money. Rather, it is the determining what our own individual soul requires in order to cause it to unfold more and more of God. So I'll read that one more time. True prosperity is not just about making money. It is determining what our own individual soul requires in order to cause it to unfold more and more of God. I just think, okay, no matter what you believe, what is your soul's purpose? What does your soul desire to do? And just knowing that this permanent prosperity, you're deserving. You're not undeserving. You are totally deserving of exactly whatever resources, time, talents, treasure, money, CDs, bank accounts, relationships, clothes, cars, whatever you need to carry that vision out shall be added unto you, to speak of biblically, in this world of abundance, where there is and should be no guilt around wanting to attract abundance and share that out. So in winding this talk to a close, I mentioned this author named Marla Deanna, and I actually discovered her just early this afternoon. She's a blogger on LinkedIn, and she said some really cool things about abundance that I want to end with, and then I'll end with a few affirmations. And Marla Deanna said, abundance is the belief in more than enough. In more than enough. And abundance is the universal principle that plays no favorites. It's not more over there. It's not less over here. It plays no favorites. It has no bias, she says, and is equally available to every human being on the planet. Okay, so that's whether you believe in quantum physics or what you believe in, you can believe that if you are as sacred as anywhere and any time and any place. See, we're not thinking about duality, we're thinking about the permanent reality. If you're as sacred as any time, anywhere, any place, then you are as deserving of abundance in all things. So opening our consciousness up to that, I'd like for us to just say a few. I have about 12 affirmations. They're really short. And I love these. I don't know where I got them from, but will you say with me, after me, I am worthy of what I desire. I am worthy of what I desire. I am open to receiving unexpected opportunities. I am open to receiving unexpected opportunities. I am grateful for the abundance that I have and the abundance that's on its way. Okay. I am grateful for the abundance that I have and the abundance that's on its way. I am capable of achieving greatness. I am capable of achieving greatness. And not society's definition of greatness. Your definition of greatness. Next, I attract prosperity to me easily. I attract prosperity to me easily. I believe there is enough money and prosperity for everyone. I believe there is enough money and prosperity for everyone. I change the world with my prosperity. I change the world with my prosperity. How about this one? I love to give money a good home. I love to give money a good home. I am open to receiving what is in the highest and best for all. I am open to receiving what is in the highest and best for all. Next, I am open to giving what is in the highest and best for all. I am open to giving what is in the highest and best for all. Just a couple more. I am capable of overcoming any money obstacles that stand in my way. I am capable of overcoming any money obstacles that stand in my way. And next, as we get ready to transition into the gratitude song that Margot's going to lead us to, we're going to say this last affirmation together. I am grateful for it all. I am grateful for it all. And from gratitude, all prosperity magnifies. And from gratitude, all prosperity magnifies. And say with me, and so it is, and so it is.
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around. I'm so grateful. 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 Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around. I'm so grateful. 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 Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around. so grateful. Yes, I'm so grateful. 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 Oh, so grateful. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful.
So let's just settle in for a moment of meditation as we just leave behind all the cares of the day, just feeling everything perfect in this moment. We're here to call in, to remember who we really are, to remember what's really important, the divine nature, the God of our understanding, the community. So we're here to remember what's really important and what's really real. So I invite you to breathe into that awareness and welcome in that awareness as you relax into this space of unconditional love. Just feel that sense of safety and sanctuary as you breathe in from the heart space. I read something by Rumi that said, when I am silent, I fall into that place where everything is music. And so I can still hear the music that Margot was creating, and that we were co-creating together, actually. So when I am silent, I fall into that place where everything is music. And as I breathe and relax more into this space, this trusting space, I also can say, when I am silent, I fall into that place where everything is just beyond words. Ineffable. In this silence, this is the ancient place. Not only that Myrtle and Charles Fillmore spoke of as going into the silence, but any of the current mystics, from Deepak Chopra to Michael Beckwith, to the ancient mystics of Hinduism and Buddhism, Sikhs and Muslims, going into this silence, this way we can go direct and have direct contact with the God of our understanding. And I know that in the silence, this is also the place where my body heals. So I breathe into that. I invite that in. And in the silence, this is the place where my thoughts and emotions heal, if I'm willing. And so I breathe into that. And so as we invite this healing to take place, we go into the silence for a few minutes. If our mind wanders, just gently bringing our attention back. So in the place of this stillness, I just affirm abundance and wisdom and harmony and grace, intelligence, joy, abundance in all things shall be added unto you. I'm grateful for this day. I'm grateful for this gathering, this community of an abundance of unconditional love and the power of that, realizing that that's not trivial at all. That is the most important thing. So I call it blessed. I call it good. And so it is.